Hello, my name is Evan Marin. I am a student at Kent State University, where I am majoring in mechanical engineering. During my free time, I like to do some 2D game design and some 3D modeling, as well as drawing and listening to music. I first discovered Stardew Valley when my parents got it for one of my siblings. No one really played it at first. It stayed in the shrink wrap casing for quite a while. I remember having seen a lot about the game just from newsletters and promotions, but I never actually thought about playing it. I didn't really like 2D pixel art games because I associated it with the old Nintendo NES and SNES games that were just frustrating to play. Eventually, my curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to open up the game and try it out. When I first started playing, I wasn't sure that I would like it, but then the more time I spent in it, the more I grew to change my opinion on 2D games. The graphics were just intriguing, and the colors were beautiful, and the gameplay was also surprisingly relaxing compared to what I was used to. A lot of the games nowadays are just designed to keep the player stimulated and engaged for as long as possible, but there's not a lot of relaxing things that you can do in them. So when I started playing Stardew Valley, it was a nice change of pace because I could do whatever I wanted, and I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. The fact that it was a farming game also surprised me because I'm not used to playing farming games for the most part. Usually they're not relaxing as they say they are because you feel like you have to get your crops ready and keep your animals alive and make sure you have money to make it through the winter or you're gonna die. But that's not how I felt when I played Stardew Valley. I felt like it was very relaxed, and there was crops you could plant in the winter. Your animals weren't high maintenance. Everything was relaxed, so you didn't have to worry about messing up the game in any way. I first started playing the game just to relax and unwind. I had started a job, I was doing college classes, I didn't get a lot of time to myself. I stopped doing a lot of stuff I used to enjoy doing, like writing and drawing, just because I didn't feel motivated. So just being able to sit back and do something that was relaxing was a good change of pace. The more and more I played the game, the more I started focusing less on me playing it and the gameplay and how much I enjoyed it, and I looked more at its design, its mechanics, and the way it was created. It started to really appeal to me that this was something somebody put a lot of work into. And that's when I started looking into game development, and I started to research how these games were made. And that's when I found out that there was a single person who was in charge of developing this entire game all on his own over the course of 4 years. So Evan Marin, also known as Concerned Ape, was the person who designed Stardew Valley. Over the course of 4 years, he did everything that the game needed to be completed, including music, sound design, the coding, the programming, and all of the sprites and art. He also published it on his own, so I thought that was very interesting how he was able to take something that he was just doing as a side hobby and create it into a finished product without any outside help. So after seeing what Eric was able to do on his own, I started to think, maybe I can do something like that. Maybe I can take up a hobby in game development and just see where that takes me. And that's when I started looking into early on beginner level gaming programming software such as RPG Maker or Game Editor, things that were really simple, but that you just sort of get to know what it was like to develop games and what actually was needed to go into them. So I still play Stardew Valley every once in a while just to unwind, but now I don't really see it so much as a game, but I also set it as my standard. Whenever I'm making something or designing something, I always look back at Stardew Valley and think, is this as good as this or close to as good? And that's sort of what I use to gauge the quality of what I do and the progress I'm making as well. Because I want to be able to get better at what I'm doing and be able to get to where other people have been able to get. So I've started moving up into higher level game making software, still beginner's level, but I've been teaching myself how to do things like the Unity C+ coding and Game Maker Studio design. And the more I practice on those, the better I get at learning how they work. Stardew Valley was sort of introduced to me during a transition in my life where I didn't have as much time to do things I used to like to do, and I had more responsibilities, and it got me interested in a lot of things I probably wouldn't have looked into otherwise. That's how I started to think about mechanical engineering and where I wanted to take that with my college career. So now I'm at Kent State University taking classes and hoping to major in mechanical engineering so I can actually move forward with my future. So I still do game development as a hobby. I may not have as much time as I used to, but every time I go back into it, I find that I hit new milestones, learn new things, and I get better the more and more I practice. I hope to one day be able to make something of my own and publish it, and make a game that people will like as much as I liked Stardew Valley.